The unbreakable bond between man and dog likely began in Southeast Asia 33,000 years ago when our ancestors began using gray wolves to hunt, according to DNA analysis. Scientists examined the genetic makeup of wolves and dogs from China, Africa, and Europe, to discover domesticated dogs evolved from the first gray wolves that joined humans on ancient scavenging missions. The study shows the first domesticated dogs then migrated to Europe, rather than descending from domesticated European wolves 10,000 years ago as was previously been thought. Scientists have long puzzled over how dogs have become man's best friend, but there is conflicting evidence on when and where wild wolves were first tamed. In a bid to solve the mystery, Professor Peter Savolainen led an international team that sequenced the genomes of 58 members of the dog family. This included gray wolves, indigenous dogs from Southeast Asia and Northeast Asia, village dogs from Nigeria, and a collection of breeds from the rest of the world, such as the Afghan Hound and Siberian Husky. The DNA analysis, published in Cell Research, found those from Southeast Asia were most closely related to gray wolves, from which domestic dogs evolved. Professor Savolainen, of the Royal Institute of Technology, Sweden, said this indicates an ancient origin of domestic dogs in southern East Asia 33,000 years ago. A Dog's Tale, Migration Around the World in brief. The domestication of dogs is thought to have begun in Southeast Asia, 33,000 years ago. This is when gray wolves are believed to have hunted alongside ancient humans. Around 15,000 years ago, a subset of dog ancestors started to migrate towards the Middle East and Africa, reaching Europe approximately 10,000 years ago. Although the authors believe that this dispersal was associated with the movement of humans, the first migration of the domestic dog out of Southeast Asia may have been self-initiated. This may have been owing to environmental factors, such as the retreat of glaciers, which started approximately 19,000 years ago. Dogs from one of these groups then traveled back towards northern China, where they encountered Asian dogs that had migrated from Southeast Asia. These two groups interbred, before spreading to the Americas. Dogs from one of these groups traveled back towards northern China, where they encountered Asian dogs that had migrated from Southeast Asia. These two groups interbred, before spreading to the Americas. Professor Savolainen said the domestic dog has followed us to every continent of the world and, as a single species, embodies one of the largest collections of DNA diversity for any on Earth. He continued that humans and dogs are likely such good companions because dogs can perform many tasks, including hunting, herding and companionship. While the new study goes some way to filling in gaps of dog evolution, some aspects are still a mystery. For example, the birthplace of domestic dogs has still not been confirmed. Neither has the date of divergence between wolves and dogs of between 32,000 and 10,000 years ago. Professor Savolainen said, "Our study, for the first time, reveals the extraordinary journey the domestic dog has traveled on this planet during the past 33,000 years.